What's up, Tube? It's Luca, and we're back with another tier list vid today. You saw the title, you know what we're getting into. We're going to be ranking what I think are the best Pokemon for returning or straight new players to the game. Not every Pokemon is right for beginners, I know. And sometimes you'll be frustrated seeing, people using what you might consider an easy Pokemon struggling in lane or struggling in the jungle. So we're going to go over what I think are the best and worst mons for new players. Our tiers are our top tier. We have S tier, which is phenomenal for starters. Our A essential tier are really good choices. B essential is not absolutely horrible. C, you could do better. And then our D tier, please don't. And then, we have Gyarados down there. I know he's in PTS, but I have no way to play the PTS currently. But there are some certain things that I want to talk about, like some certain criteria that may or may not affect my influence on these choices that I make. So, evolutions is one thing. If you're a one-stage evolution, you cannot get experience walled. And I think that's huge for new players. 1 or 2 stage evolutions. 1 stage evolutions that are simple are going to be top of S tier, but like 3 stage complex movesets evolve at level 9 are going to be at the bottom. They have to next they have to be able to teach fundamentals like positioning, using your Unite move at very important times, at big fights. It's mostly if they can teach you how to position with your Pokemon while being able to position, you can still do the job that your Pokemon is meant to do. And I don't think they should rely too much on skill shots. I think skill shots are a great part of the game, even for beginners, because it teaches them how to hit abilities. But if you're too reliant on too many difficult skill shots, you're probably going to get bumped down. Because it's a skill shot. It's in the name. So those are my basic criteria that are going to influence my decisions. So we're going to get into it, and today we are going to start with Speedsters. And for Gengar, I think he goes in the C tier. You could do better than Gengar as a beginner. He has really good burst damage. He has really good all-in, really good engage. He's a pentakill monster. But aside from his ult, he's so all-in. You could use Hex to get away, but it's not a long-range teleport. And if you're doing Shadow Ball Dream Eater, you have no escape. You have to position far enough to be able to get in, but once you're in, you can't get out. And that's the problem with Gengar as a beginner-friendly Pokemon. And, being able to properly use the resets on Hex and Shadow Ball and Dream Eater are going to be a lot more difficult for beginners, So that's why I have Gengar here. He's not down here because his burst is so insane and consistent, especially with Shadow Ball Dream Eater. And he does have his ult as a layer of security. But without his ult, he'd probably be here. Absol is going to be in the same place just because he is Crit the Mechanic. Absol's passive Super Luck gives him like 15% crit or some shit. And his damage being so reliant on crits is not the greatest for beginner players. Pursuit is not the most difficult move to first comprehend and practically use. And Night Slash, Pursuit, and Sucker Punch are simple enough moves, but having to rely on the crits is whatever. I think he's still here because he's a one-stage evolution, which is phenomenal. And he has insane early pressure. And his ult is a very safe get-out-of-jail-free card most of the time, because you can dash immediately after, going invincible. So I think he will stay here. But being a one-stage evolution and having his get-out-of-jail-free card to do damage and escape moves, I think he gets to stay here. Talonflame is phenomenal. Not so much the Brave Bird Aerial Ace build, but for beginners, I think they should run Fly Flame Charge. With Fly, you can basically position from wherever and still go in. And when you land your damage, you can auto attack or you can just you can auto attack and you can choose to chase with your flame charge, or you can choose to disengage with your flame charge. Same with your ult. So he's big damage. He is a 3-stage evolution, but he's level 7, and it's not super hard to reach Talonflame, unlike some of the other 3-stage evos on the list that we'll talk about later. So I think Talonflame is very, very good for new players. He teaches positioning. He can get in, get out, or you can choose to chase off of a whim, and he's extremely safe because he has so much mobility, especially in Gale Wings. If you're at high HP, if you mess up, you can dash out, and your movement speed will just help you get away. Our next speedster on the list is Scyther. I think Scyther's middle of the pack. He has great mobility. Swords Dance and Double Hit that's a forced mobility slot, and you have to get dual wing beat. If you hit it, if you hit the X slash, it does give you another dash, so he just has dashes through and through. He is a 1-stage evolution, which is a lot better, and what I think holds him from being any higher is understanding him. Dual Wing Beat is not the easiest move to hit, and knowing how to use Swords Dance is difficult, even if and I know Double Hit's easier, but the reset mechanics for Double Hit are still going to be a little more complex. It's a little harder to position than Talonflame because he can essentially position from anywhere and still go in with his ult or fly or Brave Bird, but he's a 1-stage evolution that does good burst and execute damage, so I think he deserves a spot here in the middle. Dodrio, absolutely not. Dodrio's a whole different game. You're not playing Pokemon Unite when you play Dodrio. You're playing Sprint Simulator. And the sprint gauge, the way that, you have to be facing someone, and like you could be moving backwards and you could throw out a projectile on some characters. Not with Dodrio. When you go in, you go in. And not being able to understand the sprint gauge and how to refill it and how getting hit could affect it, stay far away from Dodrio. Please. He might be 2-stage, but the complexity is not for beginners. Same with Zoroark. He's also 2-stage, but when I tell you it took me, who had been playing the games that came out when Zoroark came out, like 10 to 15 minutes to understand how the fuck to use Night Slash. And I still can't fully perform the Feint combo. I can, but I don't play him consistently enough. Please do not play Zoroark. You will get discouraged. He has a lot of mobility. Like, it's easy to go in with him, but in difficulty, he's a step of the rest above these two. Are there any other speedsters that I missed? Meowscarada. There's not that many speedsters in the game. Is it just Meowscarada? I think you can. Well, I think I'll put Meowscarada here. Again, he's a 3-stage Evo. Unlike Talonflame is also 3-stage. No, I think he can go here. No, because Flower Trick Trailblazes the build. And, oh yeah, his ult, yeah. I'd say he's harder than Scyther to get into. Flower Trick as a move is because it's better and it's what you want to use. Being able to understand the Flower Trick resets, how to get more damage off Flower Trick, understanding Trailblaze, how to use the attack speed, how to use, dashing farther when you're in tall grass, and his ult, it's just damage. It's just damage and you can't cancel it. It's damage and you can't do anything during it but cancel it, or like eject button a different direction. But even then, eject button canceling animations and shit is a lot more difficult than anything Scyther would ever have to do. So for that very reason, I think Meowscarada is gonna stay down here. Even though like the moves aren't, because Flower Trick is honestly just harder than Scyther to understand. I think that's every speedster though, I believe. So next, I'm gonna go into defenders. Since I was talking about animation canceling, Blastoise can go down here. Eject button can affect animations and obviously push them in directions. So being able to use eject button to push Surf a different way. You can use it during the startup of your Unite move. You can do it during Rapid Spin and Water Spout. And Rapid Spin Water Spout is just harder to understand in general, and it's I think it's the better build right now. And to top it off, he is a 3-stage Evo. And not only is he just a 3-stage Evo, as a defender, it's going to be harder for him to get that experience too. And if you're playing Rapid Spin Water Spout, it's going to be a lot harder to understand the positioning because you turn yourself essentially into an all-rounder. And for those reasons, I think Blastoise goes here. Like, Surf would have him here, but the build is better, so I think he has to stay down there. Snorlax is great for beginners. Like, probably the best support for beginners, aside from like one other monstrosity we'll talk about in a minute. He's a 1-stage Evo. Like, he's 1 stage, which is phenomenal enough to start. He has very good early pressure with Tackle. He has healing in the lane with Rest. And the build you want to go is block Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam is very simple to understand. Once they hit someone with it and they learn how to target, they're going to get it in like 2 tries. And block might be a little harder to understand. But once they figure out they can push people with block, they're going to know what to do. Heavy Slam them up, push them towards your team, push them away from your team. And Unite move for the heals and the small knockup for your team. Very, very simple to understand. I'm not even sure if he's great in the meta right now, but Snorlax was the Pokemon that carried me to like Ultra, like Season 1. So I hold this Pokemon in very high regard for beginners, especially because we were all just learning how to play the game. I think Crustle's gonna go down here. 2-stage Evo, but he's level 4, so it's essentially 1-stage Evo in lane. You're always gonna have a Crustle. It's not like you're gonna be 5 minutes in and you're not gonna have you're still gonna have a Wartortle. It's not the same. His moves are simple: Rock Slide, AoE Stun, Fury Cutter, it's damage. But getting to understand how to use the mechanics of Rock Tomb is gonna be a lot more difficult. It's gonna be a bit more difficult than Snorlax's moves because it's an aimable wall with a travel time. And X-Scissor, while simple enough, they're going to have to figure out that it can crit for 1, so you might want to build Scope Lens, and for 2, hitting them into walls not only increases the damage, but increases the stun time. So there's a bit of a learning curve compared to Snorlax, because it's not outright mentioned. Well, it's not outright, it is, if you read, but most people aren't going to read, I'm not going to lie. They're just going to try to figure it out. So it might take a bit longer to understand that concept. And his Unite, it's very simple. You don't have to worry about the revenge damage. It's an AoE stun around him that gives him a huge shield. He's still pretty great for beginners and very simple to understand. I knew someone who played a whole bunch of Crustle when the game first started, and he did well. Slowbro, 4-stage Evo, but unlike this monstrosity, he's easy. He's easier. Surf is very simple to understand. You throw the wave, it knocks him up. When upgraded, all the waves knock up. Telekinesis, the only learning curve he has is learning to pull people in with telekinesis, but even then he's still up here. Because people are still probably just gonna use amnesia to recover health. And you understand that right away. And his ult. You pick someone, they die. They're just motionless, you beat on them all you want. He's super simple. No, like, not complex at all. Mamo can go here. His ult, I still see Mamos to this day that don't understand how to use the combo of Icicle Crash High Horsepower. I'll see them high horsepower me, then Icicle Crash me, and wonder why I'm still alive. Or people using Ice Fang. Like, Ice Fang is a lot simpler, Ice Fang Earthquake, but Icicle Crash High Horsepower is always going to be better because you can hit more people. But that has a bit of a learning curve to it. He's a 3-stage Evo. You might get stuck on Pillow Slime for a while because he's a support. And his ult is not greatly designed, so there's a bit of a learning curve of learning how to aim it, learning when to use it. But he's still a tank, and he has amazing lane pressure. Like, his early game pressure is honestly some of the best. So he's not going to go down here with Blastoise because he's easier to understand and easier to execute. Tree Tree. I'll put him right here with Blastoise. He might be a 2-stage level 5 Evo. But Tree combos are going to be difficult. And he's a top laner that you have to stack with to get max value from. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, but I am taking people, like everyone here, with their best builds. And stacking and being in top lane, stacking in general is going to be a lot harder, especially for a new player. And I'm going to get into that more with the all-rounders. But he has to stack to get maximum value. And being in top lane, learning how to use his healing, when to use his stuns, if you're playing Curse, when to use the Curse resets for Horn Leech. It's going to be a lot harder to understand, especially with his ult doing a lot of things. They're not going to understand what it does. And the execution is just going to be a lot harder with his moves being really slow. So for that, I'm actually going to put Tree up here with Mamo because he is a level 5 and he has some good pressure. But like if Tree was a 3-stage like level 7 Evo, he'd be down here because people would get experience walled. Lapras. Lapras can go here. The only real learning curve for Lapras is learning how to execute with Parasong and then learning how to maneuver with the ult. Aside from that, it's a phenomenal high pressure 1-stage Evo. It just got nerfed, so I might make a video on it because the build I use specifically got nerfed, which sucks. But Lapras is a 1-stage Evo with very high early pressure. They can stop people from stacking. It can stack easily itself, and it has early CC. It's really everything you want aside from having its ult being extremely simple, which is what Snorlax and which is what these two have. But Lapras here, the mobility from the ult, it's gonna be simple to understand. Bubble Beam and Ice Beam are easy. Water Pulse is even just a little difficult. Same with Parasong, but that's only slightly difficult. It's still easier than, you know, having to understand Tree's ult, you know. So I think Lapras is gonna stay here. Umbreon. Ooh, buddy, Umbreon's gonna be up there. 2-stage Evo, like Slowbro. So level 4, like Slowbro, so we're starting off strong. Mean Look, you're really very, in one use, gonna understand what it does and why it's so strong. I'm a little biased. Umbreon might be here, but honestly, if you do Foul Play Wish, you're gonna understand real quickly what this Pokemon can do. And its ult. You don't even have to understand its ult to use it well. If you read it, Steel Shields, stuns, does way too much damage for being a defender. And it's a lot. It's very simple. Mean Look could honestly carry you to Masters, and I'm not even joking. And our final defender, Goodra. I'm gonna put Goodra down here with Blastoise because Goodra is essentially new wave Blastoise, but more difficult because it's a level 8 Evo instead of a level 7, so you're gonna get experience walled even harder. And Goodra getting its second move when it evolves sucks. Sure, like once it gets there, like you have to. The optimal build right now, from what it's Power Whip and your choice between Muddy Water and Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse is phenomenally strong, but you have to be able to hit it, and new players might not be able to hit it well. Same with Vine Whip, knowing that gooeyed opponents will reduce cooldowns. They're gonna understand its passive well, but its early pressure isn't great, and it's gonna get experience walled for new players. And I think you should stay away from Goodra. It's not down here, but it's essentially a melee all-rounder. So, and being melee is a lot harder than being ranged like Blastoise. So Goodra is gonna be here, and that is our defenders. They round up the more top half, while our speedsters have been a bit more bottom heavy. But let's see about our all-rounders. But we don't start off strong with Lucario. Just like I was talking about with Tree, your melee, the only reason that's saving him is that power-up punch. Well, no, I'll put him here. I'll put him in the middle of the pack. Power-up punch honestly saved him, now that I think about it. If it was just E-Speed, he'd probably be down here. But Power Up Punch is saving him, because with the Power Up Punch, 1-stage Evo, great lane pressure. You have to stack, which is whatever. You're melee, so it's going to be harder to position to find what you do, and you have to all in. But Power Up Punch is simple enough to understand being a dash, same with close combat, and his ult is solid damage. I think in a few games you could slowly start to understand Lucario, but he's not like a Snorlax. You figure out what every move does as soon as you use it in one button press, easy. And I think, you know, it's good for the game. I think there might be easier all-rounders, but in general, because all the all-rounders are melee with like one exception, that they're gonna probably round out like this area. Next up with Garchomp. Garchomp's gonna go down here. You can and will get experience walled until level 9. It's just gonna happen, and I've seen so many good bites. I've seen good bites at Ray Fight. It's ridiculous, because beginner players don't know how to farm, and if it takes so much to reach your power spikes, they're gonna be lower on our tier list here. So he has strong autos. He's strong late. He's actually strong early because of his autos. But your experience wall, understanding the dragon combos and the dig earthquake combos, it's not going to be a fun time. Charizard's here. Phenomenal Unite, you're going to get EXP walled. Like, it's better than before, because now all you have to do is hit level 7 to stop getting EXP walled. And most people can farm until level 7, but level 9 is somehow difficult. And honestly, his pressure is just not good. You play him in jungle, and honestly, he's fine in the jungle, but his pressure is not good enough to warrant him being any higher than here. Especially because you're going to get EXP walled. Dragonite, he's going to be... Where do I want to put Dragonite? I'm going to put Dragonite here. Same with Garchomp, because he's a level 8 Evo, which again means you're going to get EXP. You know, let me get all the EXP walls out the way. Titar. Is that all the EXP walls? Like, are these the 3 main EXP walls aside from like Blastoise, Goodra? Who else? Oh, hold on. Let me, because you're gonna get EXP walled with him, but he's just hard. Alright, let me go over this. These 2, they're pseudos. Well, these 3. Pseudo legendaries tend to evolve anywhere from level 8 to level 9. It used to be level 10, so they'd get EXP walled hard as hell. And especially with Titar, because you don't get your second move until 9, you're not going to have a fun time with Pupitar. Having to farm while people might be fighting and taking your farm from you because they need it too. Titar is not going to be a fun time, especially with there being complexity to Ancient Power in Santoon. He's ranged a bit, but understanding how to use Hyper Beam, which is your ranged move, is not going to come well. And becoming fully melee with Outrage, and learning how to reset it and reset Dragon Dance is going to be a lot more difficult than anything Lucario has to offer. And Blaziken, he's a level 7 Evo. He gets his ult, his stance switching ult at level 8, but that's why he's so hard. He's a stance switcher. He has 4 moves. He has 4 moves instead of the regular 2, and you have to learn the general move rotation and combo, and when to use them, when to swap. You're not going to have a fun time at all on Blaziken if you're just picking them up. And if you want proof, go watch the Jaden Animations video when she played Blaziken. Machamp is here. His early game is just good enough, and you have to stack to warrant him being here around Lucario's area. But all his moves are so versatile, you could do anything with them. And that's why I think he can go here. Machamp is a phenomenal Pokemon I think everyone should pick up. I do mean everyone. Everyone can learn this Pokemon in some capacity or another. So I think him being here, as him being the most all-round Pokemon, is actually great for the design philosophy of Machamp. Metagross is going to go down here. Pseudo Legendary, level 9 Evo, gets a second move at level 7. Compute and Crush is going to be difficult to understand. Learning how to understand the combos of Magnet Rise with Meteor Mash is also going to be a lot more difficult to understand. And again, you're just going to get EXP walled if you don't know what you're doing. Mimikyu, just because it's broken, it can go up here. And it's a one-stage Evo, so. One-stage Evo starts out strong. You get your second move at level 5, you choose Play Rough, you win the game. It's a dash, makes you invincible, and you can dash out as soon as you're done doing the damage. That is new player heaven. And your second, the only reason keeping it from here is that Shadow Sneak is actually hard to use, and Trick Room is going to be a bit difficult for people to understand when they just pick it up. But you don't even really need those. You can just press your ult and fucking Play Rough, and that's all you need to do, like ever. And Mimikyu will still do phenomenally well just because of the change it made to making it invincible. So Mimikyu gets to be here. It's a phenomenal Pokemon, and because the Play Rough making it invincible, it would have been like here, but Play Rough alone puts it up here. Serena's down here with Blaziken. You have essentially 3.5 to 4 moves with Queenly Majesty, and learning how to use the Queenly Majesty bar is going to be hard. Learning how to perform triple stomp, like 3 stomps in a row, or 3 drop kicks for mobility and chase, for slows, for tick damage. Learning how to bait out full heals and other CC immune moves so you can get your ult off Serena, especially with her being just okay right now. It's gonna be really hard for her to do anything, for like new players to do anything with her. She's not gonna get EXP walled, but because she's not the most tanky, you're just gonna die because you have to go in with Serena, and the game expects you to use all of your resets and your shields and your heals to get all of your damage out, but new players just don't understand that. So she's gonna be here. Same with Aegislash. Aegislash can go up here, honestly, just because it's a level 7 Evo. Like, it's a pseudo stance switcher, unlike Blaziken, who's a real, like, genuine stance switcher from MOBAs. His stance switching, like, he has the same moves, but his stance switching switches his autos from being high damage to cooldown reduction and healing. And learning how to use your boosted auto gauge is not the simplest thing to do. I promise you that. So I think new players are gonna have a hard time understanding just how to use his autos, and that's what makes Aegislash. Especially with Sacred Sword not being the simple, like, not Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword's easy enough. Wide Guard being the easiest move to understand and use. So I think he goes here. But, you know, no, I'm gonna put him down here. He needs to be down here. I'd be doing him a disservice. He's hard, and I think that's good. Azumarill, 2-stage Evo, evolves at level 4, so he's still like basically a 1-stage Evo. You're always gonna have your Azumarills. He's simple. It's gonna be hard. Well, I'm gonna put him here because late game people are not gonna know what to do. They're gonna try to dive in on people who are clumped up, and they're gonna realize that without Water Pulse, you're not doing anything. And they're gonna try to, Aqua Tail, and they're realizing they're not critting, they're not doing their big damage, and then they're gonna get bursted because Azumarill's not one of the tanky. He's not a tanky all-rounder like a Tyranitar. He's a lot more damage focused, and he's gimmick focused with his crits. So for that reason, I think he's gonna go here. Mega Mewtwo X, you get to go here, buddy. You're a 1-stage Evo. Mega Evolution is not 2-stage. Like, that happens at level 5, but it can happen anywhere in the game, and it turns you into the best Pokemon in the game. His moves are going to be super simple to understand, and his ult being global and you don't have to aim at all just brings it all together. The only reason he might be... No, Mewtwo X is up here. He's great for beginners, and he's broken. Future Sight pulls him in, easy. Side Strike, knock him up, easy. Recover, gives me a shield, easy. Teleport, mobility, easy. Ult, global ult, stuns, does damage, easy. You don't have to worry about your fucking... As a beginner, you really don't have to worry about your Mega Gauge. Not at all. And I know I'm off topic, but Mega Mewtwo Y is even easier because he's ranged. So he's gonna go there too. Back to our all-rounders. Zacian. I'm gonna put Zacian here. He's simple to understand, but when I tell you the only reason he's not here is because personal bias. My first game, I got 7 kills with Zacian because I didn't know how to use Intrepid Sword because it's not explicitly stated. But then, I did a little bit of reading, and then I realized, you can use Intrepid Sword. This was when he first came out. You can use Intrepid Sword to charge up your moves, have them be better and do more damage, and they don't affect the cooldown of your other moves. Second game was Zacian, I got 27 kills and did like 150k damage. The model's ridiculous, but personal bias is putting him here instead of up here. Scizor, I think he's going to go here. He's a level 5 Evo, so it's not going to be the most difficult to get him. He's not going to get EXP walled hard. And Bullet Punch is carrying. Well, he's going to go here. Bullet Punch carries him. Well, obviously he has to. It carries Scizor in every fucking game he'll ever be in. But Bullet Punch being its mobility that can go through walls, its damage, its heals when you upgrade it, it's a shield. You don't want to use double hit, and unlike Scyther, who's gonna have a bit of a harder time stacking his Swords Dance to get the extra auto. Bullet Punch is anywhere between 3 and 6 autos anywhere, and Technician is just gonna make it so you get the extra double auto anyway. So getting that boosted auto on Scizor is not gonna be hard to understand at all. Only reason he's down here is because his ult is not the most simple. Knowing that you have, unlike Scyther's, who's easier to understand, dash into someone, dash it out, shit ton of damage. You have to realize that you have to push people into your clones, and it's a stun, it's CC. It's a bit more difficult to understand. But him as a character in general is just easier to understand than his jungler counterpart Scyther. Oh shit, I missed 2 fucking Speedsters, holy shit. Zero Aura, hi! What's up, buddy? You're gonna go here, and Leafeon, you're gonna go here. Leaf Blade is so insane, and learning how to use Leaf Blade, Solar Blade and Leaf Blade are gonna be very simple to understand after a few uses, and the ult is extremely simple, so he gets to be here. And for Zero Aura, ult is simple, but using Discharge and Wild Charge effectively is not going to be simple. But their other 2 moves, being Volt Switch and Spark, are going to be relatively simpler to understand. So that's their placements. Back to our, where are we at? Our all-rounders. Urshifu, Rapid Strike, it's going to go here. And Single Strike is going to go here. They're both gonna be middle of the pack. Kubfu is so difficult to get past, so you have to jungle. So if you can, and jungling is harder in general, so they're gonna be here. So I think they're both here because their absurd damage is carrying them, and they have extremely simple second moves. Like Throat Chop and Liquidation are fucking whatever, press the button moves. But learning how to, learning the cancel, the cooldown reduction cancels with dash auto is not going to be extremely obvious to new players, and they're not going to understand that, knowing that the autos heal too. And for Single Strike, just knowing how to hit Wicked Blow is just going to be hard. The ult for Water Urshifu is harder, and you have to know how to combo with Single Strike Urshifu ult. How you can, Wicked Blow, ult, Wicked Blow. But that's about as far as the complexity goes. It's nothing like a Gengar or Meowscarada. And our final all-rounder, Buzzwole. One-stage Evo, lane bully. Like, aside from Mewtwo and Machamp, Buzzwole is probably the best Pokemon to teach you lane fundamentals with in top lane. Because top lane is a very difficult thing to learn. But Buzzwole having great secure, he's a great boxer, and hitting level 5 is a huge spike. You getting superpower or leech life, you just become the hugest bully in the game. And when you get Smackdown, it's even worse. This mon is ridiculous, and I think he's pretty great for new players. But you know, do I want to put him up here? I think I do. Yeah, I'm gonna put him up here. I think Buzzwole is phenomenal for new players to learn top laning, and I'm not the best top laner myself, so he's who I've been using to learn top lane, and I've been having great success. We're gonna go to our oh shit, I missed the tank. Greedent, you go here, and you know I'm gonna put a supporter here right next to you, so I can talk about both of you. Jungle invading dickheads. That's what these two are. And they serve the same purpose, to be extremely annoying. But to be annoying is an art for these two, and you have to understand the essence of being an asshole. Knowing how to use the feints, or knowing when to confuse Ray so you can have the enemy ADC hit your other squishy and they get auto 3 times and lose half their health. Knowing how to use your ult so people don't just get stunned but actually get sent back to base. And for Greedent, you just have to understand how to use Belch and Bullet Seed properly. Using every single Belch you can and using Bullet Seed to do as much damage as possible. That's about it. But being a jungle invading dickhead is not actually the easiest thing in the world. Our other supporters, Mr. Mime, you're down here, buddy. You're probably the hardest Pokemon in the game, and I will stand by that for basically forever. Barrier Confusion is harder than most. Barrier Confusion, just using Barrier itself to its fullest potential, is probably harder than Blaziken. And I love Blaziken, but this mon is not great for new players at all. And especially even the Power Swap Psychic build, knowing who to Power Swap, when to Power Swap, who to Psychic, knowing how to get the value from your ult, knowing where to put your walls for the micro stuns and to get the confusion damage. It's a lot of split-second decisions, and especially with Mime not being a traditional heal supporter, it's going to be a lot more difficult for people to understand Mime than other Pokemon. But if we go to a truly easy support, we have Clefable. Moonlight, AoE heal. If you use Gravity, you just put it down, you auto, people can't dash. You don't even have to understand that part for it to be good. And your ult, you don't have to worry about it. It's random, so it's a non-factor to if it's good for beginners or not. You just have to know how to Moonlight, and that's very easy to do. Wigglytuff is gonna go up here too. Wigglytuff is extremely simple. You use Sig, people get stunned, you do your other move for some damage, your teammate cleans it up, you pop your ult for a shield, and people become CC immune. Very simple. That's literally how you play Wigglytuff. And I'm not even joking. You could literally get through a whole game of Unite by running in, or eject buttoning in, singing some people to sleep with your teammates around, doing damage, and watching your teammates pick it up. You can win games like that. Wigglytuff might not be great, but it did just get some buffs, so maybe it'll be better. But Wigglytuff is going to be a great Pokemon for beginners to pick up. Blissey, you can go there, girl. It's the only reason she's down here is because unlike these two with a lot of AoEs, Blissey is single target. Single target shield with Safeguard. Single target heals. Her only AoE is having Egg Bomb as some AoE CC, and then having Helping Hand. But Helping Hand is simple anyway, so that's why she's down here. It's Safeguard, and knowing who to Safeguard and knowing who to softboard is going to be a bit more difficult than healing everyone with Clefable. And knowing who to choose with your ult. You don't have to understand the ult, you just have to know, if someone needs help, you ult to them. That's really the only learning curve that you need as a beginner. Comfey is brain dead. Comfey is very brain dead. You latch to someone, you heal them, you magical leaf for CC, you pop ult for heals. That's the whole Pokemon. These Pokemon have a little bit of complexity. The only complexity with Comfey That is disengage, go into a bush, and immediately start butt-butting onto your nearest tank or all-rounder. The Mon is easy. Actually, here we go. Our top tier for Comfy. Comfy will play the game for you. Woohoo! I hate Comfy. I don't like this Pokemon at all, but she's easy. I don't think, just like because she's gimmicky, I don't think you're gonna get better. But because she's so easy as a beginner, it's gonna take no effort to pick her up. So I kinda have to put her here. I don't recommend, but at the same time, there's not really a better supporter to recommend. Because you don't have to learn positioning with Comfy. Because you can disengage whenever you want. You just have to attach to your best teammate. You heal for free. You CC for free. Your range when you're not locked on. It's so very easy. And that's why Comfy is gonna be here. And Eldegoss, I think she's gonna go here. She can technically AoE heal, but you're at most gonna heal 1 to 2 people at a time. When Clefable can much easier heal her whole team. And Cotton Spore is very simple. It's like the shield version of this. Big AoE shield, not the biggest shield, but it's a shield regardless. And her ult is the only real complexity, knowing when to ult, how to dodge unite moves, who to heal, when to heal people, when to CC people away from your team, or use it for damage, mobility to get out. There's only a bit of complexity to her kit, so she's gonna be here. And Hoopa's gonna go down here for our supporters. Hoopa is simple enough. Well, no, he's not. Knowing how to portal, honestly. Every move but Hyperspace Holus and his ult are simple to understand. But those are the 2 moves you need to understand to play Hoopa well. Knowing when to throw out good portals, when to portal to the other side of the map across the goals, and knowing where to unite at the right times for whole team transportation is harder as a beginner to grasp than Machamp as an entire Pokemon. And that's why Hoopa's going to be here. Again, no shade to Machamp. I love Machamp, but Hoopa is hard to understand. And finally, we are here with our attackers. So first, I'm gonna go over our ADCs. Duraludon, you're gonna go here. 1 stage Evo, automatically a dub. Automatically a W. And it's an ADC, it's range, so you don't have to learn, it's very easy to learn positioning. And if you do Flash Cannon, Stealth Rock, you're gonna get the Pokemon in that one game. So Dragon Pulse has a bit more complexity, and the ult might be a little hard. It's a little janky to use. It's not hard, but the Mon is very simple to understand, and it's a 1-stage Evo with a strong early game. It's not the greatest Mon, but to pick up, you're gonna do relatively well because at the beginning level, everyone is viable, and I do mean everyone. Next ADC, Cinderace. You're gonna go here, buddy. You're a jungler. You don't get any moves until level 7, and that's honestly the reason why you're here. I've seen so many EXP walled reboots and score bunnies, even in the jungle. It's ridiculous. And seeing how many people play it in lane, it makes it just, it's not beginner friendly. It should be classified as a speedster, and I'm being honest, because this is not just it's a speedster. It has to be a speedster for people to understand that you need to put it in the jungle. But being classified as an attacker is fine. But that reason alone, why I don't think it has the right class, so it's gonna be here. But the reason it's not down here is because it's a ranged attacker with strong auto attacks, so it's gonna be simpler to understand regardless. Greninja, you're down here. You're my main. This might be slight bias, but again, he gets his moves at 5 and 7, which is earlier than Cinderace. But honestly, Surf is hard. to use, knowing which autos to use, because him being gifted melee autos is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing for people that understand Greninja, but a curse for new players that are just gonna run up and auto you, not understanding how to position or kite. And people are just gonna surf in, or they're gonna double team it. And learning how to properly use double team to get the most out of your water shurikens is also tough as well. His only what's saving him from being down there is he's ranged, and he has a very simple and pretty safe Unite move that he can use to get in or out because it's a dash. So for that reason, he's down here. But if he was any harder, he'd be down. He'd be down at the bottom. Decidueye, you're gonna go with Cinderace. Honestly, no, you're gonna go down here. Well, no, you're gonna go up here. It's kind of the same as Greninja, but the fact that you have Spirit Shackle is ridiculous. Spirit Shackle is positioning the move. It'll teach you that you are safe the farther away you are, and your effective range being some of the greatest in the game is phenomenal. The only thing is, you don't get Spirit Shackle until level 7, and your second move until 8. And you will see people getting EXP walled as, Dartrix pretty often in beginner lobbies. But let's say if you get to that Spirit Shackle, it's so much damage, it's so much range. And your effective range being so great literally saves him from being any lower for beginners. Who are our other ADCs? I think our last ADC is just Dragapult. Yeah, it's just Dragapult. He's gonna go here, mainly because he's great right now. No, he's not. He's gonna go down here with Greninja. Dragon Dance is hard to understand and hard to use. And properly using Phantom Force resets and Shadow Ball procs, and learning how every time after you use Dragon Dance, you're gonna get a new Dragon Breath for more ticks of damage. And you're gonna have to keep your auto gauge up so your autos do more damage and are a slight AoE. And knowing how to use his ult for securing kills and objectives. There's a lot of small things that go into Dragapult. Unlike Dodrio, who has his one huge thing being the sprint gauge and the sprint gauge mechanics, he has so many small things that contribute him to being a harder mon for beginners. Again, the only reason he's not down here is because he's a ranged ADC. But he's a 3-stage level 9 pseudo-legendary Evo. So, he's down here. And our final one, Inteleon. He's going to go here. Inteleon's going here. He is a level 7 Evo, and he gets moves at 5 and 7. But learning how to properly use his camouflage to dodge short hit moves and auto attacks is very safe. Learning how to hit the skill shots of Snipe Shot's going to be tough. And Liquidation is simple. But learning how to use his crit counter is going to be maybe a bit difficult. Especially because his crits are so valuable, doing 250% damage instead of 200. He does 2.5 times damage on crits. That's why he does so much damage. It's not a normal 2 times crit like everyone else, or a 1.75 like Azumarill. He just gets the luxury of being 2.5 while having an absurd fucking special attack stat. I hate this Pokemon so much. Rant aside, Mew, you're down here, buddy. Beginners shouldn't play Mew. The Mon is hard. 6 moves that you can choose between at any time? Yeah, no. Sure, his first moves are simple enough. Solar Beam is simple, Electro Ball is simple, and Surf is simple enough. It's those other 3 moves. Knowing when to agility, knowing that coaching is busted, but only with teams, and knowing who to teleport to get your resets. Light screen, knowing how to push people away, and understanding that light screen autos are hard. Mew is one of the 3 hardest Pokemon in the game. The 3 hardest Pokemon in the game are right here. These are all some of the hardest Pokemon in the game. All of these, and this is for some of these are. I guess honestly just easiest to hardest tier list now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, Mew's hard. And now all we have left is our burst mages aside from Sylveon. Sylveon, well, she can still be a burst mage. Let me rank all the burst mages at once. Pikachu, you're gonna go up here. Venusaur, you're gonna go here. Espeon, you're gonna go here. Glaceon's gonna go not up there, up right there. She's gonna go here. A Gardevoir, Chandelure's gonna go here. Well, there. Delphox will be here. Fram will be here. Alolan Ninetales will be here. Alright, so let me go over all my placings for these burst mage attackers. Pikachu, low cooldown ult, long range positioning. If you run Electro Ball and Volt Tackle, you're never gonna have to aim, but you're still ranged. And that's absurd to me. And Electro Ball free confirm and Volt Tackle free confirms into Electro Ball. Low cooldown ult, you get to use that every big fight. You get to learn that principle, and you get to learn positioning easy because you range. Easy Pokemon for beginners. Glaceon is here because all you have to understand is Ice Shard, and when you have all 8 shards, then you lock on to whoever you feel like and either kill them or almost kill them. And you get to like half health to quarter health to like third health things. And then, your ult just makes that process a lot easier. There's complexity to the Mon, but as a beginner, you don't have to worry about any of that. Sylveon, I think Sylveon kind of deserves to be here, but that's a skill ceiling to it. This is skill floor. And just using Hyper Voice and Calm Mind, all you have to do is aim. You can dodge things with your ult. You're gonna learn that, and your ult makes it so you heal. And then Calm Mind just makes that job easier. Venusaur is here, and I think Petal Dance is also here. Petal Dance turns you into a ranged battle mage, and then Silver Beam turns you into a long range sniper objective secure. And I think both are very easy to get into. These next 3 are all about the same. They're honestly, they're kind of locked down mages. Psyshock, Fire Spin, and Hurricane all serve the same purpose of being long-range tools that do damage and stun that confirm into the rest. Well, Psyshock's basically all of her damage, so, but it can confirm into Psy Beam. It confirms into Surf here and here into Fire Blast. Low cooldown ult. Honestly, I'm gonna put Cram up here. I forgot he's a 1-stage Evo. This is a 3-stage Evo, and she gets her moves at 6 and 7, so she's here. A9 is going to be here because her moves have more complexity, learning how to properly utilize the healing, and knowing how to freeze, knowing when to ult people that are frozen with the Avalanche Wizard build. But that's about it. Espeon is here because skill shots. It might be a 4-stage Evo, but I think you should use Psyshock to learn the Pokemon and learn the game. And Psyshock skill shots are just harder to hit in general. And down here, level 8 Evo. Skill shots, and then, rather difficult AoE rather difficult long-range AoE moves that are hard to hit without, secure or just straight-up game knowledge or game sense. New players are going to have a hard time hitting Future Sight and understanding the aiming mechanics of Psyshock. And Chandelure's down here because of Overheat. Overheat and Poltergeist are going to be a lot harder to use, and they're not going to understand the move lock on Imprison or the complete value of his ult. And he's a level 7 Evo, so for those reasons, he's going to be down here. And that is the list. So, honestly, I'm going to give you the best. I'm not going to recommend Comfy, even though she's balls to the wall easy. But I'm going to give you my 5 best recommendations. Well, my 5 best recommendations, 1 per role. For the jungle, Talonflame. For defenders, I'm going to say Snorlax, but you can take your pick between any of these 3. For all-rounders in top lane, I'm going to say Buzzwole. For attackers, I'm going to say Pikachu, Cramorant, or Mewtwo. Honestly, just pick between anyone, and for junglers, pick Talonflame. But yeah, that's really just my list. These are who I think are the best Pokemon for beginners and who is not. So I appreciate if you did stick around this long. I fuck with y'all for watching. Like the vid, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers soon. I want to get in the partner program. This is my dream to make content, and I really appreciate you guys for blowing up my first tier list video as a new content creator. So thank you a lot for that, and it means a lot. So like, comment, subscribe. Luca out. Peace.